So, continuing after the overall review of Phoenotopia, I'd like to have a separate discussion about the achievements for the game. A quick note that this video will contain spoilers, so watch with care. Most of the achievements aren't too standout. You have what you'd expect: collect all the hearts, all the energy gems, all the moonstones, and also all the weapons. This one is a bit frustrating because of the whole trading quest line, but I'd say the payoff is kinda worth it. Not sure honestly, since in the endgame I wasn't really using the bat much anymore. We also have some about fishing and cooking, and just fights in general. There are a couple interesting ones, like the one where you have to get 2500 coins through recycling. There is basically a machine that lets you put any food items or things that were made to sell and gives you some money in exchange. I actually had to go out and grind for this, because apparently by the time I got to this, even though I was almost done with the other money achievement, acquire 5000 Rin during your playthrough, I only got like 500 through recycling. I'm not sure if there is a playstyle where you'd actually use this machine this much, but mine definitely wasn't about it. The other achievements that I found interesting were the second encounter with Katash and the Phalanx fight. The first one probably wouldn't even be hard. If you have enough food stacked up, you can probably even first try it on easy mode. But I was playing on 5-star difficulty by default, so healing wasn't really an option. Also, winning the fight isn't mandatory. Even if you lose, the game will end. It's just that it's not you who is gonna beat him. Now, the issue with this is that there is a nice, long, unskippable after story and credits after the fight, so if you fail, you have to wait like 5 minutes till that ends. Reload your save file, fight the mother computer again, then the clones, and only after that you can try again. A bit tedious, so I guess it's best to be prepared for it. Now, the Phalanx fight isn't this bad from replayability, but it's not easy to beat either. Once again, speaking about 5-star difficulty, I can imagine that with the instant eat, the whole fight can be done easily, with enough food prepared, but there is not much room for eating in hard mode, and there is a lot to pay attention to. It definitely feels extra good when you finally beat him though. There are also two unique achievements that I loved. One is about getting all the cats in the game. It's just such a cute thing to add. And the other thing is about finding the people who can give service for free. Even though the idea of this is pretty good, I had to look them up, because there is no way you're gonna find them if you always have money on you. With that being said, let's take a look at the two most painful achievements and break down why on earth are they at 1% completion. So there were a couple of games already that I played that had speedrun achievements and a harder difficulty challenge. I usually manage to complete the two at the same time, so I figured I completed the game in harder difficulty anyway, it can't be that hard. Boy, was I wrong. The speedrun achievement is something I'm not even sure whether it's even possible on the lowest difficulty without using any official speedrun strategies. The main thing that makes for a huge difference is that there is a way to get through the second bridge without obtaining the life buoy. This basically means skipping the whole beat the leader of the hideout in the southwest in order to buy the freedom of your friend, which roughly translates to saving 30 to 60 minutes depending on how well you are doing. And even with doing this, I only managed to do the whole thing in 3 hours and like 10 minutes, and honestly, the only reason I even succeeded is because the game doesn't have an autosave system. So if you fail at something or die, you can just quit to the title screen, load your last save point, and that will basically get you back on the timer as well. Like, I don't even want to know how many times I had to restart in the spider den, for example, because I barely had any heart or stamina upgrades. Or food, and because that place is filled with BS enemies. I also tried to go for a strat that skips the rocket boots as well to save some time, but it ended up not being worth it, so I decided to pick up for a nice checkpoint too. Other than this, there are also a couple other things that saved me time that a casual run probably wouldn't have included. Katash, for example, can take up to 10 minutes to beat, or if you get the quick charge ability from the dojo and then drink a stamina boost, you can end the fight in like half a minute by just rhythmically hitting him with charge attacks. Overall, I definitely feel like the timer for the challenge wasn't really well thought out. Even though the official speedrun is 92 minutes long, you shouldn't be expected to do actual skips and such to complete an achievement for the game. And without abusing the saving system, I feel like it's almost impossible. There is a reason why so few people went for it after all. My overall time I spent on doing this achievement was 5 hours, according to the stream timer, so yeah, 2 of that was spent messing up, and reloading the save file. But let's jump onto the zero trial achievement. I have to say, originally I thought that this would be the harder achievement of the two, but it turns out being on a timer is worse than having restricted by many other things. After completing the speedrun, this run definitely felt easier for the most part. Sure, having almost no stamina or health sucks, especially when you can't eat from inventory and your stamina recovery rate is almost negative. You have the time to collect some more gold to get a better bat, or for example get through 6 Geo challenges and buy the best armor in the game. This definitely made me realize just how easy it is to get it, by the way. My biggest issue before getting to the end was that sometimes I forgot to save because I thought that the next part will be easy anyway, and then had to redo 20 minutes worth of playing. The spider then was as annoying as ever. I love spiders, but screw these in particular. And then I got to the end, which frankly is pretty ridiculous. The advantage the speedrun achievement had over the zero trial is that you only had to reach the final rest. Here you had to actually beat Mother Computer though. And even despite getting the stamina boost song and gathered all the food I could, the fight itself is ridiculous. You basically have to get rid of the shield and then kill the eye before it would go back, because there is simply no way you're surviving after that. During the whole fight, there are like 2 small windows where you can eat, which is definitely not enough to keep yourself alive. Especially when the second wave of machines come in to shoot some holes into your body. And the worst part is that even if you succeed in killing her, you will meet this clone fight RNG BS right after, and if you fail, you get sent back right to the start of the Mother Computer boss fight. It usually took me multiple attempts to kill Mother Computer after I learned the strategy, because I either got screwed by these 2 machines or the laser one that come out with the eye. And then it took me like 6 or 7 tries to actually not get massacred by this randomness here. So I can safely say that at least 2-3 hours of the run was spent in the last stretch. It was really frustrating, but I finally have the cute little badge on my game for completing every achievement in the game, so I'm happy. I can safely say that these 2 achievements are nowhere near fair. Zero trial is definitely something I can consider a decent challenge, but you shouldn't be required to do speedrun strats for an in-game achievement. But let me know what you think. Would you try completing these, or is it too much for you? Consider subscribing if you haven't already, and see you in the next video. Bye!